Hey guys, Jeff here. Welcome back to All About Rescue. And as promised, I do apologize it took this long, but as promised, I'm doing this video on how to run a rescue. So let's jump right in to how to run a rescue, and keep in mind the content in this video is geared primarily towards dogs, but this could apply to any animal for that matter. So, whatever breed or species that you're targeting to open up or run a rescue to support, save, rescue, etc., just, substitute that breed or species in when I'm talking about dogs. First and foremost, you have to figure out what kind of facility or foster-based rescue you want to run. Are you going to have a facility, or are you going to be foster-based? And the differences basically are, obviously a facility, you're going to have like a shelter-like facility, in which case you'll need to jump through some local hoops, with municipal code and things along those lines. The State Department of Agriculture, wherever you reside, those are some things you need to consider if you want to open up a facility. The easiest way to get started is to be a foster-based rescue. And what that basically means is you're going to, maybe save an animal. Let's say you're going to pull a dog from a high-kill shelter and you're going to place it in a foster home. Maybe it's a friend of yours, a colleague, or someone who's interested in supporting your cause. They want to foster an animal for you. So you have to make the decision early on if you want to move more towards facility-based or foster-based. I suggest starting out with foster-based. It's going to enable you to get going right away, not have to jump through any, local or municipal hoops. And it's impossible for me to know all the legalities throughout the United States, or around the world for that matter, as far as what's required to have a facility, to run a facility, to pass inspections, fire codes, things like that. So those are some things you need to consider, where a foster-based network, like I said, it's much easier to hit the ground running. So we're going to talk about having a foster-based rescue and caring for the dogs that are under your rescue. Because guess what? Your rescue owns those dogs, so it's your responsibility to provide adequate care for those dogs, even if they're in someone else's home. Ultimately, we are responsible for the animals in our care. And I don't take that responsibility lightly. I make sure that I provide and go above and beyond the basic care that is required by law. And this is where you really should understand your local animal cruelty laws and what's required. In a nutshell, sadly, the basic care for a dog is food, water, shelter. Like, that's it. Like, if you're providing food, water, and shelter, that's the minimum level care. Dogs in my rescue and dogs that are under my care, that is not even close to adequate, in my opinion. So you have to ask yourself, are you providing your foster home with all the tools that they need to go above and beyond the dog's basic needs, the dog that's in their care, right? Do you have enough resources, financial, vet care, all that kind of stuff? It's our responsibility to provide that to the foster home. And granted, some foster homes, they want to contribute financially, and that's great. Hey, we welcome it, right? If a foster mom or dad wants to buy food or take the dog to the vet and they want to pay for it, that's totally cool. Hey, we support that. They're supporting us. Great. But it is our responsibility. So you need to make sure that the dogs you are saving, you are in a position financially, resource-wise, to provide for that dog. And proper care for dogs, in my opinion, obviously is, food, water, shelter, exercise, companionship, basic training, housebreaking, crate training. All this stuff comes into play. It's our responsibility to make the dogs under our care as adoptable as possible. So you need to consider that when you're pulling a dog. Are you suited to address whatever that dog's needs are? Now, once you save a dog and you have a dog under your rescue, whether you're the foster home or you have the dog in another foster home, how are you going to get this dog adopted? You need to have a plan for how you're going to go about promoting this dog to get this dog adopted. A very common method is to go to adoption events. And, you can go to any pet store or pet supply chain, even a veterinarian's office, and ask if they're doing any adoption days where you can sign up and, maybe have a table at their adoption event where you can showcase your dogs in a public setting. Now, granted, right now I'm shooting this video December 2020, so who the hell knows with this whole COVID crap when we're going to have actual adoption events again. I know there's, we've had some throughout the year here and there, but, adoption events is a very common way for people to showcase their dogs, promote their dogs, get their dogs out in public for potential adopters to meet and greet. And there's a number of websites too where you could promote your dogs. Adopt a Pet, I'll throw the link right here. Petfinder.com, again, I'll dump the link right there. So Adopt a Pet and Petfinder.com, those are two of the most common. Petfinder probably being one of the most well-known websites for rescues to sign up and promote their dogs online. And do not undervalue the power of social media. I know people sometimes hate social media with the drama and the insanity that goes on, but if you're utilizing social media as a positive tool, you're going to have a positive outcome, right? Post your dogs on Facebook, Instagram, do a YouTube video. I mean, I have YouTube videos of some dogs that were under my care as well. Use whatever social media you're most comfortable with and start promoting your dogs. Ask your friends to share them. Social media can be a powerful tool in getting the word out about a specific dog under your care. So now that you're getting some interest in your dog or dogs that are under your care, you're going to get people that are interested. You're going to need to have them fill out some adoption applications, right? You need good apps, and you can Google adoption applications. I'll put the link below in the description of my my rescue's website, and my adoption application is right on the website. It's a PDF file. Feel free to go snag it. I don't care. I mean, I'm here to help you guys. So, take that, download it, substitute your name, modify some of the verbiage to suit your needs. But you definitely need to have an adoption application. We need to gather these people's information, their references, their veterinary reference, all stuff about them, their previous dog ownership history. Those are some of the things you're going to find in applications that are going to help you be able to screen people to kind of weed out the crap. Because it's our responsibility to make sure that we're putting the dogs that we're adopting in the best position to succeed. And in my opinion, success is not just getting adopted, but staying adopted. And processing applications, it can be a little time consuming, especially if you're flying solo or you're a small rescue like we've always been. A lot of the legwork is done by us, and maybe, if we have a handful of volunteers, they're going to help out. But we need to process these applications, contact their references and ask them questions, which, we can go over in another video. I just want to make sure that I'm capturing as much as possible on how to run a rescue here. But I'm probably going to be doing another video on how to process an adoption application. Once you've screened someone and maybe you're preliminarily approving them for adoption, you need to set up a home visit. And I already did a how to do a home visit video. You could check that out on my my All About Rescue playlist. It's pretty cool how to do it. I run you through. I actually take you along with me doing a home visit. So you could definitely check that out. I think home visits are very important because A, we get to see where the dog is going to be. We can pick out certain areas of the house that may need some modification to prepare it to be suitable for a dog. But the how to do a home visit video goes over everything. So we did the application, we approved them, maybe we did a home visit, and the adoption looks like it's going to be final. You need to have a good contract, and again, you can go on my website, and my adoption contract is up there. You can Google it. Most rescues will share willingly their adoption contracts. I don't know many who won't. Obviously, there are some that they might feel a little territorial. I think that's silly because, we're all on the same team. We all have the same goal in mind, and that's to go out of business. Yeah, that's right. And in my opinion, every rescue's ultimate goal should be to go out of business because there's no more inventory. There are just way too many homeless animals. But hey, wishful thinking. Anyway, that should be our ultimate goal, to go out of business due to lack of inventory. So make sure you have a good contract. Obviously, the contract should state things as to what the adopter is on the hook for, so to speak, and there should be some liability clauses in there, liability waivers, to protect you and your board members as well. Any disclaimers that you feel would be appropriate for your rescue, you gotta throw them in there. So make sure you have a solid contract that protects you, protects the adopter, most importantly, protects the dog. And yes, you are going to need insurance, okay? And I know a lot of small rescues, they run their rescues without insurance. Obviously, they have ironclad contracts, which helps them. And depending on where you are in the country or the world, you may or may not need insurance to run your rescue. It all depends. And I'm not a lawyer, and I certainly can't keep up with all the municipalities in the United States or areas and geography around the world where, there's different laws, state, country, etc. So make sure you know your laws locally, and if you need insurance, you have to get it. If you don't need it, you should get it. And there's a lot of insurance companies out there. If you go through, I think I mentioned earlier, petfinder.com, they have a couple of insurance recommendations, and you can get pretty decent basic insurance for about $800 a year, something like that. And there are two types of insurance, right? You have your basic insurance for liability, you know, if a dog bites someone, if you're at an event, something happens, things along those lines. But there's additional insurance you can get for your board members, because there are two different types of insurance. There's basic insurance for, you know, your rescue and liability and the animals and stuff. And then there's rescue insurance, there's insurance to protect the board members who may not be intimately involved in the care of dogs, but they are at risk and they're opening themselves up to be liable for anything that happens with the rescue. So, and again, you know, this could be an individual thing in municipalities across the country, but just so you know, there are two different types of insurance: basic insurance and insurance for board members. And one of my biggest pet peeves, it irritates the hell out of me, and that's accounting. Yes, we have to file tax returns and all that good stuff. You know, it's important that we are filing our tax returns in a timely manner, and we are sharing that information publicly with our supporters. And yes, our tax returns for our rescues, they are public record. Anybody can go to the IRS's website and they can see your tax status. They can review your Form 990s, Form 990. That's the form that your supporters want to go look at to see how your rescue is performing from a financial standpoint and what you're spending your money on and the amount of donations you're taking in. And I can't speak for other rescues, even though it's public information, it's public record, and people could go to IRS website. I actually put my Form 990s right on Pity Rescue's website. Number one, to make it easier for potential supporters, right? More importantly, I want to be as transparent as possible, right? We don't have a big rescue. I solicit donations a few times a year, and pre-COVID and back when I was up in New Jersey, I'm in North Carolina now. Back when I was up in New Jersey, we did a lot more fundraising events. I just haven't done that much down here in North Carolina. So we do some online solicitation of fundraising and things along those lines. But I want to be as transparent as possible, and I want it to be easy for people to access information. So even though they can go to the IRS website and they'll be fiddling around for a while, I just popped my Form 990s. I usually do 2 or 3 year clips. I have it right on my website so people could see it. I strongly suggest, if you want to be a reputable, transparent rescue, make transparency easy. Don't make it difficult. I know a lot of rescues, they get all pissed off when someone asks them about their finances. Well, guess what? It's the public's right to know about our finances. So just make it easy for them. And legal. Oh boy. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but you absolutely need to understand your local laws, not just surrounding animal care, but adoption events, right? You know, I talked about insurance earlier. Some adoption events require us to have additional insurance riders for that particular event on that particular date and time, right? So keep that in mind. And then municipal and state laws, they vary, you know, across the country, and I have no idea around the world. I'm sure it's much different in various parts of the world than it is here in the U.S. But it's our responsibility to know the laws in our geographical area. And when it comes to legal or accounting, I mean, I have some superficial knowledge. With accounting, I keep a spreadsheet. I make sure that, you know, my bank account records are clean and neat. But I do hire an accountant every year. Some accountants will, and even lawyers, some accountants and lawyers, they will donate their services to nonprofits. So, you know, if you know someone who's an accountant or a lawyer, that's probably a good way for you to tap into those resources, whether it's accounting or legal. I happened to pay my accountant. He was a personal accountant at one point in time, but he started doing my rescue accounting. You know, he gives me a little break, which is cool. You know, probably cost me a couple of $100 a year to pay him to file my taxes. To me, it's worth the couple of $100 to have it done right, so there's no screw ups. And because, like I said, I want to be transparent, so I want to make sure it's done right. So when I put that Form 990 up on my website, or the IRS shares my Form 990 with the public, I know it's accurate because a professional did it. So if you can afford the $200 or $300 to hire an accountant, do it. If you know an accountant, great. have them donate their services. Same thing with lawyers. If you have a lawyer friend, and God willing, you never need a lawyer, but sometimes you might just have a little question. Maybe it's a question on contracts. You don't necessarily need an animal lawyer. You need a contract lawyer. So if you have a friend who's a lawyer and they have some experience in contract law, again, that's a good resource to tap into. Same thing with liability insurance and the laws surrounding that, right? I mean, lawyers don't necessarily have to be lawyers in the animal care arena, right? It's good to have that resource as well. But think of it, this is a business, right? Even though it's a rescue and we're not making money and we're just trying to save animals, right? It is a business. So, whatever area of law you need, to tap into, there's a lawyer out there for it. And if you have a friend that can help and donate their services to you, great. If not, you may have to hire a lawyer at some point to help you. But you know what I do sometimes? I go to legalanswers.com, and I have no affiliation with them. I'm not getting any kickbacks. I don't get any sponsorship from them. But legalanswers.com, you can pay whatever it is. You pay per question, and you can choose what area of law you need help with. So that's a pretty good resource. LegalZoom.com, which I talk about in my How to Start a Rescue video, how to form a nonprofit, and LegalZoom.com. They also, I think they have a service where you can ask lawyers specific questions. So that's that, how to run a rescue. I know this was a brief overview, but I know a lot of people wanted me to do this, so I wanted to satisfy my promise to all of you and give you a quick rundown on how to run a rescue. Going forward, I'm going to take each of the topics we discussed in this video, and I'll probably break them down a little further and go into more detail about each specific topic, just to help you on your way and your journey, whether you're starting a rescue or you've run a rescue for a while and you want to start doing things a little differently. I want to make sure that I provide as much information and help you to the best of my ability. And again, I'm not an expert. I've been in rescue since 2002. My wife and I founded Pity Rescue in 2010. We have a lot of experience. We are and have always been a small rescue, so keep that in mind. But there are some things that I can and have shared with you, and I want to continue to share with you to help you on your way, because honestly, we need more good, reputable, transparent rescues. We really do. So if you're thinking about starting a rescue, or you started a rescue and kind of faded away, get back into the swing of things. The animals need you. And once again, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and take a peek around my channel. If you like what you see, consider subscribing to my channel. Click that bell so you get notified when I upload new content as well. And I'll see you all soon. It is December 2020. It's the day after Christmas, actually, when I'm shooting this. I just want to wish you all a very safe, happy, and healthy 2021. And hopefully we get 2020 behind us, and next year will be a lot better for everyone. God bless.